Hello, and welcome. Here today we're going to be doing the Alesso Heist on Death Sentence with one down mode enabled, which on a stealth mission doesn't exactly mean much, but we'll go with it. So to start, you'll head up, make sure you don't run into any guards. You'll head over into the little staging area here by the DJ booth. You can check up the stairs. There'll be two guards that kind of roam this area. We'll refer to them as Jamal and Eugene throughout the video. So what you want to do is have one person of the crew mask up. They'll pick the door into the first area here, and then there's two doors here at the top you can check. Make sure those aren't any doors you want to open. And then there's 5 possibilities down here at the bottom of the stairs. So you want to check those. As you can see, we have 2 here. And then we have Magnedyne checking over on the other side just to make sure there's no easy doors here on the other side in the little entryway. The guard on this side will be referred to as Chad throughout the video, and over in the first area there, he'll go by Brad. So just checking for doors here at the start. We're going to see how many we have here in the lower area, and keep in mind at this point I am not masked up. Ideally you want to leave as many people unmasked for as long as possible while you're doing this. Makes it take a little longer, but definitely makes it a little safer if you can just have someone going around tagging guards and kind of communicating. So as you can see, we got one door open here. We've searched the room. We got the C4. We also have our host buy the extra cutter. That way they have 2, which really expedites the process later when we have to cut the areas down in the basement. A lot of the guards here, they really do like to pull U-turns on you and stop suddenly, so just make sure you're extra careful as we move here into picking our second room of the 5 that we need to locate here in the casino. You'll also notice that the HUD might look a little different than yours. We're using the Wolf HUD here today. This is something that we typically use as a crew. As part of our 3-man crew here. I really recommend it. It provides a lot of really good insight and useful information, as well as some other things like just tapping once to activate your pager. You don't have to hold it down, risk letting go. So you see we have no rooms here in the first area, so we will wait for an opportunity to advance down to the end of the hallway. There's usually a camera right above this doorway, so be careful of that, as well as the pedestrians typically have really good eyesight here on this mission, so really be careful of that as well. Picking our third door here. As you can see, just still having that spotter out, making sure we always know where the guards are. And as we get 4 pages, so typically we have it planned out that we'll kill both guards down in the basement, as well as the guard up in the DJ booth, and then we do leave one more just in case of an emergency. So once you've checked all these rooms down here on the first level, next thing we will do is clear the basement. We're here, we might as well do it now just to save ourselves some time later. So first thing you got to do down here, identify your cameras, both in the warehouse area here as well as in the hallways. There'll be 2 guards down here as well as a forklift driver. So you'll have to get him down once it's safe, but there's a little hallway over here, kind of directly where I'm looking here, where you see Magnedyne. The guards will walk down this hallway, and that is what we have determined to be the safest place to kill them. There's never a camera down there, so just make sure they walk all the way down the hallway, not just a few steps like you just saw there. Once they walk all the way down the hallway, you're good to hit them. But we just don't want to accidentally knock them back out into view of the camera. So kind of going back to where you typically see those U-turns and sudden stops, we've seen this guard go in and out of that area 3 to 4 times now, before finally I think the next time he will actually walk all the way down the hallway. There can be up to 2 cameras out in the warehouse area, so really double check that. I can't stress that enough, because this is an area you do not want to be seen by a camera. Really keep in mind that you're going to want to loop the cameras down here if you need to, especially later when we're applying C4 cutters and we have money falling out that we don't know where it's going to fall. So after that, we'll get the forklift driver down. You see that here, just get him down, tie him up. I recommend moving him out of the way of the forklift, just to keep the cleaner costs down. Don't want to accidentally take him out. So after we've got the basement secured here, we're going to head upstairs to the other 2 rooms where the supply closets could be, to try to locate our last 2 bundles of C4. And a third member of our crew at this time has positioned himself up outside the DJ room where the light show will be performed, and he's just holding steady there, just not getting seen. So that's kind of the role of that person. So as you can see, it's important that you can have one person that's pretty good with being masked and kind of stealthing around. Also, here's another worker to watch out for. We call him Timmy. He can also be kind of a menace sometimes if he gets in your way. And here we see our guard finally clear out of the way, so we're good to go. Now be careful as you go out here. You never know where this guard is. Use your spotter to your advantage here. Make sure you get eyes on him before you go tearing out. If the DJ is on the left side of the booth there, you actually cannot get behind without him seeing. So make sure he's clear. And then we'll get some eyes on Eugene here at the top of the stairs. And what you're going to want to do here is go behind the little tarp here, and then actually hop up through the plants over the glass and proceed down the back side of the bar here over to this door here in the corner behind the bar. Make sure you keep eyes on Eugene there, and we head into our third area where we'll check for more marked rooms. Careful, it's close quarters in here. This camera is really a big pain, and we have identified another room here, but we got to make sure we know where our guards are at this time. You'll see it here in a minute, but I would recommend opening as many doors as possible in this particular room, just so that when our light show operator does need to get out, that he's able to as easy as possible. So here we are into our 4th room. We'll just search for the C4. Spotter's roll, make sure you always have eyes on those guards. And cameras and civvies as well. You don't want to be seen by them. So this guard here, he goes by Tyrone, and naming the guards was something that we kind of just started doing for fun at the beginning, but it's actually turned out to be pretty useful because you know, when you say a name, you actually know what guard you're referring to. So if you can get in kind of a groove like that, I would recommend it. So as you can see, what just happened there was our masked up person sprinted across and jumped over. So you're going to want to go through that door if the right stand does not have a worker, but if there is a worker there, you're going to want to go actually down the hallway where we opened the storage container to the other door, so you can go out to the other way to the left stand where there's no worker. And then since there's no open door and I'm not masked up, I can't actually get in this area, but I just stand still and allow my spotting skills to kind of get eyes on that room so that the person that is masked up can always kind of see where the people are in there, so he can kind of get out without being seen. So if you can get to this point, from this point pace kind of slows down a little bit. So what we're going to do is get out, and we'll send our masked person down to the basement to start applying C4. Since that's already secured, there's no worries, nothing has to happen down there. It's just a matter of putting C4 on. And then you'll see we'll hop back across here, but it's important that you obviously know where guards are before you just come flying into this room, because you don't really want to accidentally get seen, because he's right inside the doorway. So at this time we're going to shift gears. We'll kind of do a little bit of both, kind of let you see a little bit of what it looks like to be up in the DJ booth as well as down in the basement, so in case you need to do either role, you kind of know what that looks like. So
Nope. Okay. No, it should be good. I should see. Smalls at the top of the stairs, headed down. Oh, you turn up the stairs. Wow, we never see that happen. You're good. Okay, good. There's Brad. You good? I'm gonna have to light show.
okay, so now I'm going to head up to the light show here, kind of show you the way through here, up the stairs to the basketball room, into this little area here at the very end. What you want to do is just kind of chill out here, and then we'll take a look at what you need to do next down in the basement. So what you want to do, really make sure you keep the cameras looped pretty much at all times. They can see a lot throughout this room, and you don't want to get seen when you put the C4 on, when you put the cutters on, and especially when you're trying to take the cutters off and you get the money falling out. So you know what you want to do, loop the camera, go grab the forklift, drive it under one of the sets of C4, put it on, and you can see up in the upper left hand corner there's actually a timer that will pop up when the camera is looped. It's part of the Wolf HUD, so that's helpful, so you can kind of see, okay, camera's done, it's not seeing me, so I'm okay, or I need to move. So you see a 24-second loop as we move to put on our second set of C4. And then once you have 2 sets of C4 on and placed, you'll be able to get into the DJ booth up at the top to start the light show and the sounds that will mask the C4 explosions, providing access to the bottom of the vault. So we'll take you back up. You can see here we got our second thing placed. So now this guard will actually vacate the doorway. This is also one of the guards that we're planning on taking out. So there's a camera inside the second door here, straight ahead there. We'll tag it in a second right there. And then as soon as you have an opportunity to take this guard out, there's very rarely cameras in the side rooms. So that's usually a pretty safe place to take it out, take one of them out. And then once you answer that page, you'll come in, get the DJ down. There's no need to bag this guy. I think we do in this case just for kicks, but you don't really need to. And then we'll get the DJ down just so that he's not a problem. And then this room is now secure. So pretty much free to do whatever you need to do in here. Kind of show you what the light show looks like. You'll need to start the computer. Then you'll have to answer the intercom, and this part's just a little bit of a tedious process. Just make sure you're listening carefully, hitting the proper buttons, or you'll have to start over. So we'll kind of show you the first sequence here, and then we'll kind of speed it up and then take you back downstairs once we have one of the things blown up and show you what it looks like to get the cutters on.
He's just funny. Watch out, Kyle.
Okay, so now we're back down in the basement, and we're going to show you how to put the cutters on. So whoever takes the first batch of C4, the first door that you open, is going to get a cutter. And then whoever the host is that buys the extra cutter and the pre-planning at the start, they'll have an additional cutter. So if you can have that be the same person, then you'll have two cutters and really expedites the process. So it's pretty much the same process as putting the C4 on. Just make sure the camera's looped, move your forklift, and then kind of in a similar manner, just place the cutters. They do take a certain amount of time to cut, so you can kind of put them on and then you'll have to go hide and you can come back and take them off later. At which point, 2 bundles of money will fall out from every cutter, and those can kind of bounce around and go wherever, so then it's really important that you make sure the cutter or the camera is looped. But show you some more of the light show here as we wait for our cutters to finish cutting, and then we'll take you back downstairs and show you how to take those off. Alright, so back down, our cutters are done, so we'll head in. You can see they're done, they have the little things pointing at them. We'll take the circle cutter off, and you can see they kind of fall out. They happen to be nice here, but you can see that camera could be an issue, so we'll go loop that. Just make sure we have that good to go. And then you also have to listen for where you need to throw the money, so they will give a location, and there are vents around the room that all have a location listed above them, so just match up whatever they tell you with that location, and you should be good to go. And you'll just hit the button to open the chute, and then you'll throw all the bags in it, and then when you get to that location, you'll open it at the top and they'll all come back out. So it's kind of a neat little mechanic that they have here on Alesso that isn't really on any other mission. So listen for that. I believe in this one it's red squares that we'll be throwing to, and then they'll kind of show you where that is and what that looks like as well. So just keeping that camera looped. Once you get the money out, you have to put 2 more cutters on somewhere, and then that's kind of what that looks like. So now we've got our second cutter on, second round of cutters. Light show is done. So now what we need to do is get back down to the basement from the light show. So this is where it helps if someone's still unmasked. They can come in here, and you want to tag as many people in here as possible. And this is also why we opened this door earlier, so that we can use this as an escape route. So just so you know, the basketball room here, that is not a safe place to hide. The guards will walk through there and they will see you. So there's a lot of guards that follow some weird paths in here. But once you come in here, it's important that we go hard left behind this wood pallet. This is a safe place that we can stay until we know where this guard is. But it's also important that you make sure he's not standing right inside the door before you go in there. So once you get to here, once it's clear, we'll head back to where we saw Eugene earlier by the bar. Make sure that you know where he is before you go out there. You do not want to get seen during this stage of the mission. You have all the time in the world at this point, so there's no need to rush. You can see Eugene here taking an interesting route that we hadn't really seen before, so we have to kind of hide a little bit. But once you get out, it's the same way we took up, back, so out to your left, over the plants here. I'm not messed up, so I'll have to go around, but then you'll go behind the tarp. Here? Make sure you find Jamal.
Okay.
Before you go down the stairs, just kind of sit tight behind here, and then
where am I
once it's clear, you'll want to head down.
Okay.
And make sure you're also clear of the DJ. And just be really careful. Take your time.
Okay. Yep.
If you can get back here behind this little banner here, this is also a good safe
Should I get
spot
to
to
you?
sit. So you can see here,
Okay.
just
I
kind
wanna
of
stay right
guiding,
here.
keeping tags on,
Okay.
kind of instructing when to go and where to go. So we took this extra cautiously. Took us probably longer than needed, but it's rather safe than sorry. So we'll head in here. We have to make sure we have this one other thing checked, and then we'll go. You'll see, hop over the ledge. It's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
And then we will meet up with Magnadine down in the
Okay,
basement.
I don't use any cameras.
So at this point, I'm just going to kind of speed up the process on just putting cutters on, taking cutters off, moving money. So I'll kind of show you that. This is kind of a tedious process, but at this point, there's no reason not to get all the money. There's nothing that's being seen. There's nothing in danger of being seen. So, just it'll take some time. At this point, we have 2 people masked up, so we have 1 person that will be looping cameras, and then 1 person putting cutters on, taking cutters off. At this point, 3rd member of your crew that had been unmasked could probably mask up and help, but there is one other place that we're going to probably need to spot some people. So I stay unmasked for the time being, and then you can kind of see us here bagging money and throwing it in that little chute. So now we're up here at Red Squares. You can see this is the right spot because we have our bags as well as the little fingerprint of where we're supposed to be putting the bags up in the ceiling. So since we haven't killed our 4th guard yet, we're going to kill Chad here. Just makes it easier as we're kind of moving throughout this area. And then just make sure this civvy doesn't see anything. You can see we thought she might see him, so I started to mask up in case we were going to have to take care of her. But once all that's done, what you're going to see is kind of a sped up version of us basically just finishing moving our money, putting it all in the chute, and then heading upstairs and hitting the button on the chute upstairs and moving it into the supply closet. So we'll speed it up for the sake of not seeing the same thing for the next 10 minutes. Now we got all our bags moved. We're headed up for one final time. We're now done in the basement. So we head back here into the hallway. You can see the chute here. So what we'll do once we have our whole party here is we'll hit the button. You can see that here in a second. Once it's clear, you don't want to get seen by the civilian here at this point. So we'll hit the button. You'll see all the money come flying out of the chute, and then we'll all pile up there. And then what we'll do is you'll have to move it over here to the marked room. So we picked this room just in case we need to escape, but don't get seen. Move the money. I wouldn't recommend throwing money at this point, just so to prevent anything from being seen. Just make sure you know where that civilian is. I'm still not masked at this point, just to try to keep her tagged if possible. But this is once again a little bit of repetitive process. Could take a little bit, but the more people you have, obviously the faster it goes. So yeah, and then once we're done moving the money, it's very important that nothing has been seen up to this point, because if it has, the next part can go very wrong and can actually hose you. So make sure no one's seen. But what we're going to do is once we have all the money in, we will answer the phone call on the outside of the door, and we will unmask, and then after that we'll have to walk out through the casino. So the only part that's really key for that is to make sure you keep moving and don't walk in any guards. So you'll kind of see here, I finally mask up for about 2 seconds. I answer this intercom call, and then we move into the unmasking area. So Like I said, two things: keep moving, don't get seen. We'll kind of tell you the typical route that you have to take. So um, you can kind of see here, it takes a little bit. No one is masked up. Doesn't matter that our guns are still out. This door will open, so you'll want to head straight out. Make sure you're checking for guards, and then they have a little bit of a pattern out here that they kind of set up. So yeah, at the start you'll actually want to go right. Well, we made the mistake of going left here, and as you'll see in a sec, we actually almost walk into this guard right here, so we had to retreat down the stairs a little bit. But you want to head out to the right, back around to this stand here, and then all the way back across the arena. And you can see the guards kind of lined up there. They'll all see you, which is why it's important that you keep moving, so they don't end up detecting you. And then all the way back across, and then through the double doors out to the escape. And that is it. That will get you a couple of achievements. You can see this will also net you a pretty big paycheck, as well as a little over 1.4 million experience. So it's a great experience getter for you if you can do it. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments.